What if the life you're living isn't actually yours? What if the way you see yourself, your worth, your abilities, your future, has been quietly shaped by endless comparisons that have completely rewritten your actuality from within? Every time you scroll through someone else's success, you're stacking pieces of their lives into a version of perfect you think you need to match. But here's the catch. You're chasing something that doesn't exist. And worse, it's creating a false identity that's holding you back from real growth. This isn't just about feeling bad. It's about how comparison rewires your identity, making even the simplest goals feel unreal to achieve. But what if you could break out of this trap? Not by wishing things were different, but by proving to yourself step by step that they can be. The trap of comparison and identity. Humans are hardwired to compare. It's how we've survived for millennia. In small tribes, comparison was a tool for survival, helping us learn from one another. But in today's world, that same mechanism has spiraled out of control. Instead of comparing ourselves to a few dozen peers, we're up against an infinite scroll of highlight reels. Social media has turned our brains into hyperactive comparison machines. One moment, you're looking at an Olympic athlete's achievements. Next, it's an entrepreneur announcing their latest million-dollar deal. This overload creates an impossible standard. It's not just one life you're comparing yourself to. It's the best pieces of thousands of lives stitched together into an unattainable ideal. Opinions like graduate by this age, get married by that age, have a house, a family, a thriving career. And suddenly, just existing feels like falling short. These constant comparisons don't just make you feel bad in the moment. You start internalizing them. The brain, overwhelmed by so-called evidence that everyone is better, starts believing the story. I am not enough. That belief doesn't stay in your head. It colors your entire world. It becomes the filter through which you see yourself, your relationships, and even your future. It sabotages everything in your life. It even sabotages who you think you are within. Your identity shapes your truth. Once this sabotage takes root, it doesn't just stay as a fleeting thought. It transforms into a full-blown false identity. And this identity, it quietly, insidiously, dictates how you perceive and interact with the world. If you truly believe deep down that you're lacking, how does that shape your day-to-day life? Every task starts to feel monumental. Even the smallest things begin to feel like mountains you're ill-equipped to climb. That belief drains your energy before you even try to take action. What's worse is that this false identity also skews how you interpret the good things in life. Imagine someone compliments you. If your core belief is, I'm not enough, you won't take it as a genuine affirmation. Acts of kindness feel suspicious, and opportunities seem like setups for failure. Even success can feel like a fluke, as if you don't deserve it. This creates a devastating feedback loop. When you see yourself as unworthy, the world mirrors that belief back to you. You shy away from risks, shrink in social situations, and unconsciously push away opportunities. And every time you don't try or don't succeed, it reinforces the lie. The false identity grows stronger. When we allow this false identity to define us, life feels like a constant battle. Not because it actually is, but because the lens you're looking through makes it seem that way. It's not life that's hard. It's the way you've been taught to see yourself in it. Thoughts aren't enough. When self-doubt and low self-esteem have taken over, the first instinct is to fight back with positivity. You delve yourself into self-help ideas of affirmations, manifestations, and 1,000 other positivity-building habits. And while these can be tools, they often fall flat because, to make them truly stick, you need solid proof based on experience. The brain doesn't buy into wishful thinking unless it has evidence to back it up. Telling yourself positive affirmations might sound good in theory, but if your brain's internal judge is sitting there, demanding proof, those words feel hollow. In fact, they might even amplify the negative thoughts. You say, "You're successful," and your brain snickers. Really? successful people don't feel like this. That's why trying to power through with thoughts feels like pushing against a wall. The harder you try, the more resistance you feel. Because positive thinking without proof is like trying to patch a sinking boat with duct tape. It might hold for a second, but the cracks underneath will keep flooding the waters in. And the more you get flooded by these thoughts of low self-esteem, you start to believe that you're right about being incapable. You completely stop trying, and soon you start labeling things you always wanted to achieve as unrealistic. This is where people get stuck, endlessly looping between wanting change and feeling like change can never happen. You get convinced that real transformation is for other people, people who are smarter and stronger than you. But it's time to understand, the problem isn't you. It's the method. You can't think your way out of this. You need to prove your way out. When you start building real, tangible proof, however small, it's no longer about what you think you can do. It's about what you've already done. And that changes everything. The unrealistic reboot. Let's talk about the unreal. No, not flying into the sun like Superman or winning the lottery. It's about the things that feel unreal for you, the things you've quietly categorized as unreachable. For some, it might be something as small as doing one push-up. For others, it could be waking up early or asking someone out. These might sound laughably simple to someone else, but for you, they carry the weight of a mountain. That's the nature of the unreal. It's deeply personal, defined by the limits we place on ourselves. When you believe even small goals are out of reach, it creates a ripple effect. If doing one push-up feels impossible, how could running a mile, landing your dream job, or building meaningful relationships ever be in the cards? The more you believe something is out of reach, the less you try. The less you try, the lower your chances of success. And the lower your success rate, the stronger that belief becomes. This cycle is why so many people feel stuck, because they've already decided the outcome before they've even begun. But the key to breaking this cycle is simple. It's about forcing your brain to confront evidence that its assumptions are flawed, and only then what feels unreachable can truly be reached. The unreal to real plan. Step 1. Write down 6 unrealistic things. What are 6 things that you feel are easy for others, but completely out of reach for you? These aren't grandiose goals like becoming a millionaire in 3 months. Instead, focus on things that seem small, but personally intimidating. Things like waking up at 6 a.m., having a 5-minute conversation with a stranger, or exercising for 5 minutes. These are the things that feel unrealistic because of your false identity, but identifying them is the first step to breaking that illusion. Step 2, pick 3 of the 6. Trying to tackle all 6 at once might overwhelm you, which is exactly what we're trying to avoid. Pick 3 that feel the most doable. Go with the ones that spark a mix of nervousness and excitement. Maybe one feels like a stretch, but is secretly thrilling. That's your sweet spot. Step 3, schedule a time and place. This is where most people fall off. There's a difference between someday I'll try this and actually planning it out. For each of your 3 things, choose a day, time, and place. For example, tomorrow at lunch, I'll say hello to the cashier at my local coffee shop. When you make your plan this specific, your brain starts seeing it as possible, and that's where the magic begins. Step 4, just do it. Now the only thing left is for you to just do it. Yes, it will feel scary. Yes, you'll doubt yourself. But the whole point is proving your brain wrong, and you can't do that without action. Once you've done it, no matter how small, pause and reflect. Take a moment to acknowledge what you've just accomplished. This serves as evidence to oppose your false identity. If one of the 3 things doesn't work out, no big deal. Move on to another item on your list and repeat the process. This isn't a one-and-done deal. The more you repeat this process, the more momentum you build. Those small wins will start to add up, creating a new sense of confidence, not the kind that's faked or forced, but the kind that's earned. With every unreal thing you make real, you start rewriting your false identity. You're not faking it till you make it. You're proving it until you believe it. This is how big changes start. not with massive leaps, but with small, deliberate steps. The impact. The choices you make to challenge your identity and prove your assumptions wrong don't just change a moment, they change your life. You start challenging the stories you've believed. Every time you achieve something you thought was unreal, you force your brain to think, what other limiting beliefs could you have been wrong about? That question is life-changing. Suddenly, the false stories you've told yourself for years start to unravel. The false identity starts to lose its grip because now you have evidence that contradicts its existence. And this evidence stops making you think success is a fluke. When you actively create success by meeting your own goals, you start to recognize your power in making things happen, which makes constant comparison fade away. Because instead of measuring your worth against someone else's highlight reel, you're measuring it against the progress you've made for yourself. And finally, an authentic identity emerges. Each time you prove yourself wrong, you're chipping away at the old belief that you're not enough. Bit by bit, you're building a true identity, one that's based on proof and experience. This doesn't mean you'll never doubt yourself again. Doubts will still come up, but now you'll have tools to face them. You've built a track record of proving yourself wrong, and that track record becomes your armor against self-doubt. So remember, you don't need to measure up to anyone else's life, only to the progress you're willing to make for yourself. That false identity telling you you're not enough, it's been lying. The only way to dismantle it is through action. By turning what feels unreal into tangible proof of what you can achieve, every small step is a win. And with each proof, you start to see who you truly are, not defined by comparisons or impossible standards, but by the strength to rewrite your own story. This isn't about perfection, it's about progress. And with every step forward, you're building an authentic identity rooted in evidence, confidence, and self-worth. Because the life you've been chasing, it's already yours. All that's left is to claim it. Be sure to subscribe. And if you like this video and want to really take more authority over your life and break free from things that are holding you back, then watch our video right here on how to get your life back together again.